Someone needs to hear this today, but if you have to explain to someone and prove that something that they did makes you feel uncomfortable, they are not your friend, babes. They are not your friend at all. Does not matter how much time has passed, how long you have known them, they are not your friend. If you say, I am uncomfortable, please do not do that again, and they're like, oh, it was just a joke, they're not your friend.
Hey y'all, welcome back, or if you're new here, welcome. My name is Lumi, and today we're going to be looking at some more videos about fake friends. So this first one, this is so true, and I feel like it took me a while to realize this, because I feel like I grew up around it, you know, like with my parents, unfortunately, but yeah, no, the friends you have that they kind of like test the waters, or they test you constantly, and they'll push your buttons. They'll say things like backhanded comments. They'll say things that's basically hate or disrespect, like flat out to your face, to see how you'll react. And if you do finally push back, they'll just say, "Oh, well, I was just joking. It was just a joke, man. Like, why are you freaking out?" And they'll like turn it around on you and make you seem like the bad guy. It's almost like being gaslit in a way, because it's like, you have to listen to your own feelings, right? And if it makes you uncomfortable, if it makes you feel a certain way, and you address it, you bring it up, they'll try to make you feel like those feelings aren't valid, that you're overreacting, that what you're feeling is not, it's not normal, like it's not a normal human reaction. And then you go back, and this is kind of like why it's like gaslighting. You'll go back and ask yourself, "Oh, well, am I overreacting? Is this normal? Like, am I, the one in the wrong here?" You see what I mean? Like, it's like you're second guessing yourself. But you can't second guess your feelings. Like, those are real, right? Like, you need to listen to those things. And that's not to say that you have to be like super disagreeable all the time, because obviously with anything you can go. It's like a pendulum. You can swing super far the other way, and then you take it too far, and you might become like overly sensitive about things. That's not what I'm trying to advocate here. I'm talking about the people who, it's like every time you hang out with them, there's some kind of like weird competition, or like there's something going on, like the undertones of the vibe and the environment are hostile, and they they make it they make it so that like you never feel like truly comfortable, and they have to constantly remind you through this way, this behavior, these comments, right? They have to constantly remind you that like you're not all that. You're not like who you are, when you could be an amazing person, right? It's like they don't feel like an amazing person, so they have to bring you down and make you feel less of a great person, less of an accomplished individual, whatever. It's like they see that light in you, and they want to extinguish it. It's really crazy. It's like it's dark human psychology, dark human behavior. But it's really important to be aware of these things, to protect yourself, and to honestly to foster the friendships and the connections with people that are truly genuine, who are good for you, who bring value to your life, and it's overall just better. Like, that's what I'm trying to foster these days. I'm trying to foster genuine, real human connections. And it's hard because I'm not working right now. I just stay in my house all day. Like, I don't really get out there much. All I have are really just like internet friends at this point. But I'm trying really hard to be, careful who I let into my life and who I interact with, because yeah, these things are, this is important. And if you hang around certain people for long enough, who you make excuses for, who bring you down, who just say, "Oh, I'm just joking." Like, let me tell you that over a it's like, if I could give an example, it's like eating unhealthily. Like if you eat bad food, it might not be bad like tomorrow, but over time, you're gonna find yourself with health issues. You're gaining weight. You might have, high cholesterol. It's kind of like that. It's like a small bad thing over a long period of time will lead to serious long-term damage or issues. So, yeah, take that as you will. Let's take a look at the next video.
Why autistic people attract frenemies? I can't honestly say, but what I can say is that almost all of us who have autism have had this same scenario or same situation where somebody befriends us only to like wish us ill or to not be a true friend, to be like a silent hater or something, or to sabotage us. And I just don't understand why, first of all, a frenemy exists. If you want to be somebody's enemy, just be their enemy. You don't have to pretend to be their friend. You can put that effort into being somebody's actual friend or just minding your own business. But I don't see what's to gain from being a frenemy. But also, it's really interesting that autistic people tend to attract them. And I think they attract them because we are kind and we are authentic. I think that they want to be authentic. They want to be, themselves. So I think sometimes they're attracted to that. But I'm just thinking, what's your reason?
Yeah, I feel like the reason why people, or why frenemies, as she says, exist, it's because these people, they're narcissists at heart, right? And they're lonely, and that void inside them, it has to be filled, right? Constantly. They're never truly happy with themselves. So they can't just sit with themselves. That's too much. It's too painful. Like they have to distract themselves with others, or they have to go out. They have to party. They have like vices. They have to fill that void, right? And true, authentic, honest, and genuine people, like high vibrational people, they can see through this stuff easily, right? Like because they're true to themselves, and they're honest with themselves, and they see that, oh, this person is bringing me down. Like maybe they'll give them a shot. Like they won't know immediately, because that's impossible to know, right? Like you meet someone and you can't just be like, oh, that's a narcissist, right? Like it's something that you have to find out over time through just like conversation, or going out with these people, whatever. So it's not to say it's like some magic power. I'm not saying that. It's just like, but like once these people, once there's one or two interactions, 2 or 3 times, whatever, they'll be honest with themselves. They won't make excuses for these people's actions or behaviors, and they'll cut them out, just flat out, right? And yeah, these people are, look, they're pretty strong, right? Like it takes a lot of willpower to do that, because everyone wants friends, right? And like going back to what I was saying earlier, like I think that's why frenemies exist, because you've got the people who, they're just trying to get through life, they're not really honest with themselves. They'll make excuses for their friends, their quote unquote friends' behavior, like, oh, they're just joking around, like, and then the narcissist, like, well, this is great. If they're willing to put up with me and my true ugly self, my ugly personality, well, then this is awesome. I'm gonna stay around. I'm gonna keep being their, their friend, because it benefits me. They're not really thinking about you. And the other person, the victim here, I guess, in this situation is just like, they're just happy to have friends, right? They're happy to be here for the ride. And yeah, it's pretty sad. It's like, if I could compare it to something, it's almost like like in nature, like a parasitic relationship. There's like a host, and then there's the parasite. The parasite in this case being like the narcissist. They latch on and they feed off of you. They feed off of your good energy, your high vibrational energy, and they just feed off of that. And yeah, it drains the host over time, and eventually, yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to say it like kills them, but it will bring them down. And in some cases, it can be very bad. Like, when you have someone who's like a narcissist in your life, and I'm talking like maybe in a more romantic setting, you get to things like abuse, right? Like physical, verbal abuse, domestic violence. These things can spiral, and yeah, these people can be dangerous sometimes. So again, like that's why you got to watch out for these things. That's why you got to be honest with yourself. Yeah, no, it can get pretty serious pretty quick if you don't realize like what you're dealing with.
It took me a long time in my life to realize that not everyone who says they're your friend is your friend. I don't know if that's like me being spectrumy, and I didn't understand that people could just like lie. I'm like, oh, we're friends. That means we trust each other. We're going to keep our secrets, things like that, like very innocently, like. And as an adult, especially in entertainment, I realized, oh no, that's just like a blanket term for I want proximity to you. And people want proximity to you for numerous reasons. One, you inspire them and they like you, right? And they're a real friend. Two, they want what you have. They want your light. They want your confidence. They want how people engage with you. They want your opportunities. They feel internally that they deserve it more than you. So they get close to you to take it. And people only want to be your friend until you stop fitting the narrative and the version of you that they created in their head. When you step outside the box that they want you to be in their life, they get upset. And I think everyone's done this. I've done this like in my past as well. But what ends up happening is when you step outside the box, they react and villainize you because now you're no longer servicing them in the way that they need. How tight of a grip that person has on you. They know your secrets. They know what irks you. So that when it's time and you no longer fit the box and like you don't fit in the box that they put you in, the narrative they have of you in their head, that's when they take it all out. It's funny, I've learned this the hard way, and because of that, I've kept my circle very small. Emily's my best friend. There are very few people that know shit about me and what's going on in my life. And so if somebody tells somebody something about what's going on in my life and I hear about it from somebody else, I know exactly who the fuck told you. That says enough. And the funny part is those people will talk and I know anyone who believes them and doesn't come to me is not my friend. Because that fits the narrative of me they want in their head. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, she's spot on here. This is pretty true. Like, people will create these stories they tell themselves about you, right? These narratives that they form for you. And as soon as you break out of that box, break out of that narrative, you become like the bad guy, It's like people don't like that. If I could give an example, it's kind of like people gravitate towards certainty, right? They like what's familiar. They like what they are used to and what they're comfortable with. because in their mind, like that's what they've accepted about you or the situation or whatever. And as soon as you change that in their mind, it's like, well, who are you? You know, this person is no longer who I thought you were. That's why you hear a lot of times, like, or oftentimes, um, when people like get successful, their old friends will be like, "Well, you changed, man. You changed." Like it's a bad thing. And I guess, sometimes it could be, like, depending on uh like who you are, I guess. But if you're like a high vibrational, genuine good person, uh oftentimes that change is good, it's growth. Um yeah, and those people who are like saying that you've changed, it's like they're trying to spin it as like a bad thing, but it's only bad in their mind because you no longer fit that narrative that they created for you. And that's not who you are, right? Like you're so much more than that. Um, like don't let people bring you down, because they like trust me, they will try to keep you in that box. Um, it's almost like psychological warfare, like it's this weird kind of like mental cage that they want you in. Um, and it's probably because they themselves live in a mental cage that they've formed for themselves, or live in other people's mental cages. We're all kind of just like living in each other's mental cages. But yeah, it's kind of like, in a way, it's kind of like what the Matrix was kind of saying. Um, but yeah, it's I don't know. I think the fastest and best way out of something like this is just to be your true, authentic self, and be true to yourself. Because once you stop, well, like I said before, once you stop making excuses for these people and what they're trying to do to you, you'll quickly realize that you're much better off without them. Alright, this one's getting kind of long now. I'm going to wrap it up here, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please give me a like down below. If you didn't, dislike it. If you dislike it, let me know in the comments what you think. Do you have any stories like this that you'd like to share? I'd love to hear them in the comments, and what your thoughts are on these, on my take and these videos, so these TikTok videos. And as always, if you enjoy this sort of thing, please consider subscribing. It helps me and the channel go a long way. But anyway, guys, I will catch you in the next one. Later.